Welcome to episode number 48. How is everybody doing?
Alive, breathing
Alive?
normally as well.
We're doing well.
At least none of our backgrounds look like a prison cell, seeing that we're all locked, or apart from Shua, but we're all locked down and locked up at the moment.
Wait, just to clarify, I don't want people to think that I'm in prison. It's just in Sweden, it's just a bit more open compared to the UK.
So you're here with Olu, Shua, Pabilo, and Daniel. On this week's episode, we wanted to go in depth in terms of this quarantine. So all of us are currently in lockdown or have been in lockdown. So wanted to just talk about our experience, how it's been. If people are struggling, if someone's struggling to find toilet roll, I can ship some out to you or whatever the situation could be. So stay tuned and let's get started.
Take off, take flight with you. For we never fly, but we're flying.
So just before we quickly go into the episode, I just want to give a big shout out to all our very loyal listeners. Thank you for all the feedback. Thank you for all the suggestions, which were flooding in through the Instagram.
This guy about to do, man.
No, I'm laughing at Daniel. No, but sorry, what I just wanted to say is the Take Flight podcast hats, the orders came flying in, and we've only got a few more left. So in case you are interested, please do send a DM to @Take Flight Podcast, or if you want to go directly to the plug @Shua1, I'll sort you out. They're not free. They come with the price.
Slide in Shua's DM. So, how's everyone doing?
Guys,
So
how we managing?
Whose episode is this, by the way? Who's leading the agenda? Okay, Mr. Olu. So how do you want to get this popped off? Because this is a hot topic.
I just want to keep it open, right? Just to really understand how you guys doing, right? Because
Olive, have you got any few plants? That's a new addition in the background. Is that something you've been doing? Yeah.
What kind of plant is that?
Go on, pick it out.
It's called a palm. Sort of.
Have a look at the tag. Have a look at the tag.
What type of palm?
Got it from IKEA, actually.
Just read the tag. What palm?
I'm gonna pick up the pot to check the tag.
guys, let's. I want to know how you guys are doing in this quarantine. Period.
So, how long have you guys been on quarantine for? So, this is coming up to
same time as you.
No, for me, it feels like it's been 3 weeks. Because my workplace actually sent out an email for us to start working from home quite early. So a week earlier than the actual government came out, Boris came out and said, hey, I'm going to mandate this sort of quarantine. Firstly, when he gave out the instructions about the quarantine, were any of you guys confused about what it really meant?
No, I think it's pretty clear.
You did find it straightforward?
Yeah. He said,
because I didn't find it straightforward. Go on.
What part didn't you understand?
What part did you understand? What part did you
Okay, I'll tell you what I understood.
Yeah.
He said that go out for 1 4 exercise a day.
Yeah.
By yourself or as your family, your people in your household.
Yeah.
And go out for only essential things that you need. I.e., that would be to the supermarket for food or to the pharmacy for medication. That is it.
Okay.
What did you understand?
So for me, business-wise, and I think we're going to talk about this on another episode, but business-wise, I think when he said essential, right? We had tenants moving into one of our properties the day after he said essential, right? So would you say that I can allow those tenants to check in or not?
No.
Let Daniel. I want Daniel based on the clarity of the definition.
By what he said, no.
Would you call housing essential? I'll say housing someone is essential.
But did you physically need to be there?
No, I don't. I'm not saying about me being there. I did we ended up doing a virtual check-in. But again, there weren't clarity about all the different dimensions and what it truly meant.
But then he hasn't really got time to be stating all the nuances of what this means for this person compared to that person. I think what you try and do is trying to encapsulate everything into very short and concise points so that people don't get confused and people overthink. Because otherwise you're gonna look at listing. Oh wait, no, I don't fit into that bit. I can do it.
Yeah, but I think ultimately there's a lot of clarity in the consequences, isn't it? Which matters. If you go out, and
I saw some people went Bristol to the beach or whatever. Like I don't feel like some people felt the consequences or were really concerned about the quarantine. But anyways, what about our personal experiences? What have you guys been up to? What have you been up to?
Can someone explain to me what a quarantine is? Because I haven't experienced that yet. So what's that?
Sure,
I don't even know people make.
Why don't you explain what's happening in Sweden?
So here in Stockholm, I'm living life. That's basically. No, let me be serious. So here in Stockholm, they're taking a slightly different approach. So the approach that they've taken here is kind of similar to what the UK was initially thinking of doing. So basically, they've recommended for people to be socially distancing. That's one. They've kept the schools open, but they've closed the universities. And they've asked most of the companies that if you can work from home, to work from home. Now, here in Scandinavia, working from home isn't that foreign anyway. So a lot of companies were already doing that. But yeah, apart from the fact that I'm working from my apartment, everything else at the weekends, during the weekdays, the restaurants are still open, bars are still open, shops are still open. It's just a lot less busier in the streets because I think Sweden, at least from what I've observed, they listen to the rules naturally more than other countries. So this social distancing, you're noticing it more in the streets, but generally it's still business as usual to a certain extent. The economy is still running, but just less busy.
Are the gyms open for you? Sure.
So the gyms were actually closed for 2 weeks. The particular chain that I went to, they were closed for 2 weeks, and this was probably 2 or 3 weeks before the UK officially closed theirs. But now they've reopened it, and they are following the government guidelines. And they said anything that's non-essential, they recommend you should close or reduce your working hours. But the gym they classify is essential for people's well-being, so they've kept it open. So I'm still able to go to the gym every morning.
Okay. Cool. What about the rest of you guys? What does your day look like right now, based on the quarantine? Has anything changed? Is it just business as usual? I know P, you've been waking up still at 4 a.m. It seems like.
Yes. Yeah, so maybe just to before I delve into what my day looks like or how I'm trying to maintain it, and before I say what I think of or what I see the opportunities in quarantine, I first empathize with people that from this period are unwell. People that have passed away, my condolences there. And also, I empathize with people sort of that are, let's say, for example, where you'd have 2 or 3 children, and now you've got to figure out what to do with them inside the house. That can be quite challenging. But for those who are like ourselves, right, who have a hell of a lot of time on our hands, this is probably one of the greatest opportunities.
For yourself. Speak for yourself.
Why?
I've been crazy, like it's been crazy busy for me work-wise because it's quarter close. So
but still, but there is still more time. So so for me, how I look at it is I think this is the blessing, this is the gift that keeps on giving for those that want to get ahead, and that for those that have always been complaining and moaning about not having enough time to get some of the side things that they want to do done. We have so much time in this period. So the way I've looked at it and the way my perspective is it's just a space of opportunity. And what you do with it will depend on how you prepare yourself and how you come out on the other end. So my whole thing, and that's kind of what I've been sort of telling myself and Shaw, I've been talking a lot about using this time to sort of learn, study. I've also been telling Lauren, let's make the most of it and let's sort of not try and count the days, but make the most of the days. So yeah, that's it's just a big opportunity. It's an opportunity to develop. That's kind of how I see it.
Can I ask just one quick question on that? Because I think, especially in your case, your situation in particular, you have obviously Karim growing up.
Yeah.
And then you're also doing this in your paternity leave. So have you found a change in your, specifically for you, the family day-to-day running pre-corona or now or not?
It's corona. It's just more family time.
Okay.
It's so much more family time. So it's literally, I mean, every second of every day we're together. And so I couldn't have, you can't ask for for me personally, you can't ask for a better situation. So obviously pre-corona, I would study a little bit outside of the house. So I would either go to a library or something like that. But whereas we have corona and quarantine, mate, family time, baby.
Okay. I thought Karen was getting those stretches in as well. So Daniel, Daniel. So how about in your case? Because I guess in your specific case as well, you have both you and Melissa. I guess she's also working from home as well.
Yeah. the question?
Generally, how's it
He's trying to create some. He's trying to create some sound bites. Daniel, come on, man. Answer the question.
Sean just said, "Oh, you and Melissa."
No, but I meant, so just to follow that up, how have you guys been managing as a couple?
It's been all right. It's of course very different to what we're used to as life. It's nice to be at home and to enjoy home as well at the same time. To be honest, I'm getting quite not bored, but a bit frustrated. A bit frustrated in the fact that I go out for some exercise, but I haven't been able to for the past week because I've been a bit unwell. But it's the fact that you're restricted in terms of your freedom. And I think that's probably been the most difficult part. And also, we weren't created to work at home. Home was never going to be our office, or wasn't designed to be our office. So having to almost fit home with work with home, you kind of don't get to break or have clear boundaries when your work day's finished, which sometimes can be challenging, especially in the morning because my routine's somewhat changed. I'm not so diligent in terms of waking up early because I don't have to, and I can start up later.
Are you finding yourself turning up to work late, even though you're just rolling out of bed?
No, well,
I'll be honest.
Sometimes,
I'll be honest.
Sometimes,
I'm waking up maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes before I need to physically be on a call. So one of the hardest things I'm deciding is what time. What time to shower is one of the contemplate.
What time to shower
in the day? Decide what time in the day to shower.
This is interesting.
But
I'm being completely honest.
But so Daniel, just to finish the point that you were saying, so you're saying that because of the change in routine, it's difficult. Do you feel like you've already adapted to this new routine, or are you still in the process of figuring out?
I've adapted to it now.
Okay.
But it was just, the first week, you say, yeah, it's nice. And as time goes on, you're thinking you do want a bit of, not structure, because there is structure. You want a bit of degree of spontaneity in your day or in your week, rather than just having to be home 24/7, because I've never done this before in my life. I've always spent the majority of my day at work as opposed to being at home, where now I'm spending the most amount I've spent ever at home in my life, which is still nice at the same time. I don't disregard that, and I'm very fortunate to have a garden and a lot of green and open field space. For those who may not live in an apartment or not have a garden, it could be much worse, especially when the weather's nice. So don't take that for granted. But it's just you do hope people do adhere to what we're told to do, so that this can end quicker than it needs to, and people aren't spreading the virus more. Because ultimately what people do when they're going out, they're being selfish. They're not respecting the rules. They're not respecting others. They're just doing what they want. There are people I've seen on social media, even influencers who are going to their parents' house, chilling there, going home, and then doing other things, which, to be honest, doesn't set a good example. And I think it's very unfair, because most of us, if our parents do live nearby, we do want to see them, we do want to interact with them, or our family, but we've been told not to, because people might not know you can carry the symptoms without displaying any symptoms. You can carry the virus without displaying any of the symptoms and pass it on to someone else.
So
that's
just
okay.
Because actually, before we hear how it's been for Olu, I just wanted to, because P, you're making a lot of facial expressions when Daniel was talking there. So what was it that shocked you?
You know what's interesting? I find and we can have the discussion. And maybe it's just me. I find, yes, it is new. We haven't done this before. But for me personally, a lot of us have kind of yearned for time at home. We've yearned for more family time. We've yearned for time with our spouse. We have been given this time, but yet it's almost like we don't, we're like, oh no, I'm not quite sure. I think
people yearn for it, but not with the lockdown element of it. So it's completely different.
I agree. True.
That element is a different part.
I do totally understand that people want obviously the time and freedom without having to be locked down. I do get that, but I think my perspective is trying to see what is the maximum opportunity we can take from this and make the most of it. So that's kind of the angle that I'm trying to sort of come at it from, or
You know
trying
what
to
you
live.
sound like? I saw this post where the person was like, "Look, if you leave quarantine without either writing a book, starting a business, or whatever, you don't lack time. You lack passion and drive
you lack discipline.
or discipline." And I was like, I do understand that post, but there's obviously nuances to it that you have to take into consideration. And I think you mentioned at the beginning, some people are looking after kids now, right? So you've had to take on another responsibility in terms of becoming a teacher. Some people might be worrying or stressing about being made redundant. Some people are having to become even more efficient at home because they're not used to working from home, so they're finding it difficult. So it's not always so black and white where
No, it's true. But what I find with that post, that post is speaking to a certain number of people, and those people know who they are.
Yes.
And so if you're one of those people that when you read it, you know it's for you, and you don't make the most of it, then we'll see at the end of it, innit? Look, it's gonna make or break you. Make sure it makes you.
Pete, chill, man.
No, I'm not chilling.
Someone's phone.
Someone's phone. It was always there. It was always there.
No, so mine was on my microphone, but it hadn't moved.
Olu, tell us more about how you're finding it, challenges, adjusting.
Yeah, how's your experience been, Olu?
My experience so far is I feel like I haven't I haven't started to experience quarantine or lockdown.
Have you skipped testing?
In the sense of when I talk to friends or go on social media, I feel like so many people got time. I don't know why it feels like so many people have got so much time on their hands right now. Because with work, we're at our quarter close. It's just been stressful. I find myself struggling to know when to look away from my screen or stop working. So I've been working on to like 1, 2 a.m. And then all that means is that you're just waking up late the next day for whatever meeting you have, having to decide, okay, what time should I shower, right? I'm not going to front. I'm not showering in the morning anymore. I've changed my routine to shower in the afternoon. Because, so for me, I haven't experienced, I think next week when everything quiets down at work, I'm actually going to have that freedom of, okay, truly experiencing what quarantine feels like, what lockdown feels like, being able to schedule my day how I would like to, being able to, like P said, start up some stuff that I wanted to do before, but I didn't really have the time. But the last 2 weeks have just been work. And yeah, I've been trying to schedule some yoga sessions. So I put like my yoga mat in the living room, turn on the
Big
TV.
man, yeah?
Yeah, my flexibility is not there. So I gotta try and
me and Karen have got some serious flexibility. You should see us, man.
So that's pretty much just been my day. It's grocery shopping once a week, and work. I'm quarantined right now with my girlfriend, so it's been at least I have like meals and everything.
You guys staying together?
It makes more sense. It makes more sense. It makes more sense,
ground, baby.
It makes more sense. It makes more sense due to the fact that
Say no more, Chester.
I said it makes more sense, right?
Makes more sense.
Huh?
Makes more sense.
I was going to say you're smiling more now in Corona period than you were normally.
Well, the thing is, Olu, it's a good move. Olu, it's definitely a good move. I would have thought, the fact that you're not alone, you'd be enjoying it more. Not to say you're not enjoying it when you're not working.
Work element. As soon as the work,
so next week should be good for you. Next week should be.
You guys are going to see me on TikTok or Snapchat.
Oli, it's a good point that you mentioned there, because I don't know if Daniel's seen this, because it was actually posted on Bloomberg's website that since this shift to now majority of the world working from home, people are actually spending longer working, and then the line of, and that's why I can actually understand a bit what Daniel was saying, the line of, okay, at this time I'll go have my lunch, I'll have a break away from my laptop, or I'll go have a break, I'll have a coffee, this type of stuff. That line has become very blurred. And typically you end up spending more time sat in front of a computer, and it can actually be draining.
For sure.
And I think if you don't have that structure, and even if you do have the structure, I think at work, personally, I've realized that I work better when I'm around other people, even if they're working on completely different things than what I am doing. It just helps my focus to see other people focusing.
I think there's an element of it where it's like you feel guilty. Like I think at work, you've done your work, you can go away for like a half an hour lunch, and you're like, I'm going for my lunch. At home, you feel like if you slip away and someone's trying to message you or email you, they're like, oh, where are you? What you like? You're at home, you got no excuse, not response.
But I think
so. You're going to be disciplined to set those times of when you do walk away from your screen.
I think there needs to be a degree of trust because, well, and I think that needs to be enforced from management down rather than the other way around. Because I think after the first week we had a weekly team. We had a team meet. No, we had a weekly team meet and also individual team meets with our managers and also a skip level manager as well. And we had a conversation about, of course, people have worked from home before, but this is going to be a longer term adjustment. If there's anything we need, we should let them know, not just in terms of looking after our physical health, in terms of not contracting the virus, but ensuring that, if you want to stay fit, you can go for runs. Also, your mental health, there's an employee line if you have any worries or anxious about anything during these times. If you don't feel like you can talk to your manager, there's always the employee hotline you can refer to as well. Because what we don't understand is, whilst we're young, we're somewhat used to it. But for the older generation and those who may live alone, work might have been that place where they have others around, where they actually enjoy the commute. They have a sense of community. Whereas now they're home alone, they don't have any of that. So I think that's from the management level. And also, my manager said, if you need to go out to get some essentials, go out. You don't need to say anything. If you need to go to the shops because it's now is a more convenient time for you, do it. If you need to want to take a half an hour break, do it. Take your lunch break, do it.
No, I agree.
Employees need to tell and show that their employees that they trust them.
No, for sure.
That's crucial in this time because a lot of us are focusing on our physical, but not also the mental part.
So, Daniel, you're right for sure. You're right for sure. But staying on like your experience right now, like, what is the one thing, if you guys had to name one thing you miss the most right now in this period, what is it?
I can go quickly on that one because I think the one thing that I miss at the moment, because as I mentioned earlier in the episode, the quarantine isn't as strong here in Stockholm where I'm based. The one thing that I do miss is the ability to just go to the airport and travel. There are no flights to go anywhere, and not being able to, especially go back to the UK to see my parents. That is just annoying. And I think I've been here in Stockholm for at least maybe 2 or 3 weekends, but there hasn't been a period where I spend such a concentrated time in one location for a long time, which obviously is a massive first world problem and it's a privileged position to be in. But I just do, for me personally, I miss having that flexibility of going to places when I want to go and do what I want to do. So that for me is probably the biggest adjustment.
P. Yeah, you're missing your property network meetings.
Yeah, I was thinking that, but that's probably not.
You're still doing it virtually, right?
Yeah, but there's an element. No, I wouldn't say that. I would say it's it's funny. You underestimate the joy of just basically getting ready, going outside, jumping in your car, and driving off. And it's that process of sort of just driving off. Like I do a little bit of self-talk in the morning when I'm going to the gym. I kind of go over my affirmations, and I've got to do it now in a different place. And it's so a bit of the routine. But yeah, I'll just say sort of the very basic things, like maybe going to Nando's with Nando's. Don't worry, we've stacked up. I've stocked up. Trust me. The custard and the Manor House cake stopped. Don't worry about
it. I thought that was why Carrie was stretching at first. I thought you were stretching into a bowl.
One thing I will say to that, because one thing I will say to that, because I'll come on to speaking about, I think Olu, you mentioned about structuring our day. Maybe we've gone past that point, but I can talk a little bit about how we've kind of made it a bit more fun around here. But yeah, for me, it's kind of like the very simple things, going to Nando's, right, with the family.
Daniel, what are you missing?
I miss watching decent TV, like watching football. I'll be honest with you, because
swear down.
When this lockdown was like,
swear down.
Yeah, I'm home. But then you realize there's nothing to watch on TV because, like Netflix, I used to watch a couple of shows on Netflix. Yeah. Like I watched that. What's it, Tiger King, with that Carol Baskin.
She 100% killed her husband, by the way. 100% sure.
But you know, I've watched that. I finished Money Heist, the latest season. I've started watching Ozark. I finished 2 seasons. I'm on the third season.
Daniel, careful. P's just watching like all this free time. You're watching Netflix. You got a TV in the house.
No,
that's what P thinking.
For the listeners, I was ill for the last whole week, so I was confined to bed. So I had to watch TV. So I just had no energy for anything. But it's I'm not gonna lie, I miss football, because even yesterday I was watching BT Sport. I was watching United versus Juventus 98-99, and then I watched the treble.
That was a good game though. Was that the first leg or second leg?
It was the second leg.
Okay, cool. That's the one. Is that the one where Roy Keane got sent off with the yellow card?
No, he got a yellow card and then Scholes got a yellow card, so they both missed the final. Yeah. No, but I watched that because that was on BT Sport. I was looking through the movie channels. I was looking through sport. I thought, there's nothing to watch, and I thought, I might as well watch this. But that is one thing I miss in terms of, there's not much more I can miss, because I miss the element of mixing up my activities in the gym. But I enjoy spending time with Melissa, so it's nice. I enjoy being in my home. I've always been a home person.
Trust me, man.
So I'm not really bothered about that. And I've had more time to do more creative things with regards to food and desserts, and actually film them and do things. So I'm grateful, but I ain't gonna lie, I don't really miss people. I ain't gonna lie.
That's strange, because that would be the one on my list. I would say the human interaction.
Where you love going out there. You love going out there.
Human interaction could be also with parents as well, family and parents. Like being able to go and see your nephew. Like that's human interaction versus doing everything on a video. It's not the same. I understand you're with your significant other, you're with your partner, etc. But the human interaction plays a big role in our life, and we got to be careful, because it takes 21 days to build a habit, right? After this quarantine is over, how are we going to interact with people? Are we even going to continue shaking people's hands, right? Like P's they're like, nah. How are you going to close the deal? How are you going to close the deal?
We're going to discuss that. We're going to discuss that on the next episode. But it's just
that's the biggest part of human interaction.
No, what I was going to say to Shaw's point around the custard, some of the things that we've tried to do, some of the things we've tried to do. No. He made me think. We've tried to sort of, as best as we can, do things that we don't usually do to give ourselves a bit more fun. So, for example, we have a lot more sort of snacks and sweets, and we kind of buy a lot more of that than we did before. Now we're having sort of.
I can tell, big man.
Domino's pizza is still delivering, so we tend to schedule on a more regular basis. So you just got to put things. But I'm still structuring this guy. I'm still structuring my day from 4 a.m. all the way until about 9:30, 10. So I'm doing like work blocks, family blocks, work blocks, family blocks.
Domino's that way.
What's the best Domino's deals at the moment?
This guy, man.
They still got two for Tuesdays.
Yeah, no, I don't do that. I just create my own.
Only the halal toppings as well, inshallah. Actually, on that, I got a question, because I think Ollie, you broke down a bit earlier. In case we're jumping back a little bit, you broke down a bit earlier your usual routine, because you were saying basically at the moment with work, you've been working more hours. You're waking up just a few minutes before your meetings or your first call, and then you've also switched your shower to the evening time. But is there anything else that you've changed in your day in terms of what time you're eating? Exercising, is that still part of the day? How does that look?
So exercise.
Ask the guys how their routine is.
Exercise, no. Just because but normally during this week that I had the crazy week, I don't normally exercise during that week.
Okay.
But yesterday I started doing like yoga, half an hour yoga sessions. Which
I saw a couple of videos of you running up a hill quite fast.
Oh yeah, I did that as well. Like that was I think 2 weeks ago. Yeah,
to challenge people.
Yeah, so certain people couldn't find a hill. I'm just saying, there's hills all over. No, but
I challenge you to have a child.
Whoa, that's another episode.
Daniel?
Daniel, he's talking to you. He's talking to you.
I don't believe in having kids outside of wedlock.
Because when I watched it, I was like, I ain't got time for these child games, man. I'm out here looking after my little boy, innit? Yo, why don't you have a child? Then come chat to man. You get me? No.
Throw me off, man. I don't even know what I was gonna say.
But you're saying about the exercise. So normally this week you typically wouldn't do it.
Yeah, but now I'm getting back to it where it's at least 1-2 sessions a day, half an hour yoga just to improve my flexibility, and then some sort of cardio or weights.
And you mentioned as well that your girlfriend at the moment is staying with you. Do you have like blocked out time, or do you say, okay, in the evening at this time we're going to spend time together, or it's just...
Nah, she's been upset for the last, like, for the first week at least, just because I've just been work, crazy hours. So, like, I think 9 p.m. today, we've got yoga session, which I've allocated. Let's do yoga.
That's good.
And then as soon as it quiets down, we'll try and schedule. We've been playing Monopoly. We played Monopoly like 3 times, yeah.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Because it probably gets quite heated, no?
So my negotiation skills are the best. But we basically had a Monopoly.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I can imagine all of it. No, you won't be 200.
So we had a Monopoly
because you got the Lagos edition as well. So you don't know the Lagos edition. You don't know what the Mayfair section is, does she?
So we had a round where it was like whoever loses has to wash the dishes for the whole week. Yeah.
So who lost?
And she lost.
Can you not tell about on his face?
Yeah.
That's why I'm happy. I'm like, I'm not cooking. I'm all my dishes. No, but it's I think it makes sense. It's been good, right? Apart from the fact that we've been crazy busy, so we haven't had the time to schedule to get to know each other better, build certain things in terms of ideas that she might have, ideas that I might have those in-depth conversations that I would like. But I think hopefully next week it should.
So let's say from next week, because I think this is a very important segment of the episode where I think there are a lot of listeners that are listening that have struggled to find consistency or a routine that they actually enjoy. And I think us sharing our examples of what we're doing or what we're trying to do can certainly help and lead whilst we're in this quarantine state. So as of next week, when things start to wind down from work, what are you going to try to do exactly?
Okay. First thing I'm going to try to do is be disciplined with my sleeping, because people don't realize that for a lot of things, for you to be creative, for you to have the energy to do a lot of stuff, you need to be well rested. So I want to get into a routine of getting that 7-8 hour sleep. Now I can afford. There's still more. I don't have any commute time. I can get that 8 hour sleep and go to bed at a reasonable time, so I can wake up at a reasonable time.
Only one question, just for the listeners on that one. So how much time are you saving now versus your commute before, like a day?
Great question.
A good hour and a half, 2 hours. It could be.
Oof, mate, if you add that 2 hours to your sleep.
Yeah. So if there's traffic, that's the one.
But sorry, carry on. So that was number one, the sleep.
So second thing is in terms of working out. So as I said before, I'm not working out as I would like to. So scheduling at least 2 sessions a day. If it's a 10-20 minute yoga session, and then a 45-minute actual exercise like running. So it still comes up to like an hour through the day, but getting that time to exercise. Next thing I'll do is be disciplined with how much time I'm working in terms of my job and how much time I'm working on my own goals. So knowing, okay, even if it means that I don't take a lunch break and I'm doing a straight 6 hours or 7 hours straight work, and then I log off early or whatever, I'm just going to spend that time to say, this is the time that I'm going to work. This is the time that I'm working on myself. And then the next thing is then to organize stuff that I've wanted to do that I've basically put off because I've said I don't have time to do it. So if that's around, I've wanted to write, I think Chihuahua and I have talked about this before, but that children's novel, right? The book. So I can start thinking about, okay, what's the plan around that? Organizing a lot of the stuff that I'm doing with property. This is the perfect time to be reaching out to people that you previously spoke to a year ago, old leads, and just saying, hey, what's up? How's things going? Are you struggling during this tough time? You'll be surprised how you can work or make a solution. So I think those are the main, I would say, 4 stuff that I'm planning to do. So 1, it's get enough rest, sleep well. 2, working out, being healthy. 3 is being disciplined in terms of how much time I'm working and how much time I'm working on myself. and 4 is just work on stuff that I'd never had the time to do. So if it's business, if it's relationship, just spending like allocated times to those things. So that's the 4 things that I'm gonna, and I guess 5, try to shower early.
Sure. How does your day look?
So mine, to be honest, I've really tried since this period of working from home to try and keep my routine as close to what it was pre-corona, because it's just kind of helped my flow. So still waking up Monday to Friday at the same time, just before 5. Still doing my gratitude journal, still meditating, going to the gym because I'm in the fortunate position that's still open. I think for me, the non-commute has saved me like an hour and a half every day. 45 minutes there, 45 minutes back. So now during that time, I'm working out for a little bit longer in the morning. Also going
Can tell.
Also going to the sauna.
I see you.
Why the skin's kind of glowing a little bit, spending that time in the sauna. And then I come home and just focusing on the work and balancing how I did before. I think initially similar to Olu, people started to schedule meetings close to lunchtime, during lunchtime, all of this. So I really had to block out an hour and a half every day for lunch and a break to make sure that I move away from my laptop. And also having regular walks and stuff as well. But I think other than that, for me, the routine hasn't changed so much. But I think the important thing is the fact that it hasn't changed. And I've still stuck to what I had before. Because then eventually when this period ends, it will be easier to get back into that routine as well.
Yeah.
But Pete, before we go to you, maybe it'd be good to hear Daniel. Because Daniel, you mentioned already about, I mean, before you were unwell last week, how was the week before that?
I'm time rich, baby. I'm time rich. I'm saving over 3 hours a day.
Wow.
Easy.
With this lockdown.
Crazy, man.
3 hours minimum. Time rich, baby.
So the question he has is, what are you using that 3 hours to do?
Yeah,
I've been doing a lot.
Quarantine equals blessing. Gone.
Trust me. So in the morning, I sometimes.
By the way, excuse me. Sorry, time out. You sound a lot better, man. What happened?
I can't laugh, man. Chill.
You can't laugh, yeah? You sound a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just a bit of vodka to get that.
Did
bit
it
of
come
vodka
back?
for that throat. A bit of vodka for that throat.
Go ahead.
So in the morning I was going for doing some exercise. When I get up about 7 and do some exercise before work at 8. But now, Melissa and I, she found this 6-week training plan thing by Chris Hemsworth. So we've been doing that, which is good because it allows us to do different types of exercises. So I'd never done Pilates before. So I think our first session that the plan instructed us to do was Pilates, and boy, that was different.
You guys are really stretching your body.
I'm telling you, listen, you're going to start to hear about all of the different new things that are coming out of this. Go on, keep going, Dan. Keep going.
So we're doing that every day. So sometimes it's 2 workouts a day. So that's good. Of course, we don't work in the same area. So Melissa works in the dining room. I work in the study. But then we take frequent breaks, stretch our legs, and sometimes we go for a walk in the evening. But it allows me in the evening a lot more freedom to do more desserts, record them, just have more ideas, fly my drone, improve my skills, improve my editing as well. So I've had a lot more time to do things that I enjoy doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess for Melissa, she's had a lot more time to cook and not be so rushed or stressed to do it because there's only so many hours in a day with work in London as well. So it's been good on that front, and we had a lot more time to watch shows together, to chill together, to talk as well, and things of that nature. So it's been very different. But
sounds like the perfect life.
But it's been a welcome change, to be honest.
And 3 hours, just because I was just calculating now, 3 hours a day times 5, that's 15 hours. That's pretty much saying like you're getting a whole work day back into your life where you can actually dedicate that time to do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty powerful. But I think you know what you also mentioned as well, having that extra time to also just chill. I think people also underestimate that because there's a lot of time people are just commuting and doing this, doing that. But having that extra 1 or 2 hours to actually not do it doesn't always have to be productive. Even if you have that extra hour or two, you can just chill. That is worth something in this time.
Mm. Yeah.
So P, last but not least.
Real quick. So no, I've just been a firm believer that during this period, our routines are more important than they were actually when it was pre-corona. So I've tried to sort of be even more focused on perfecting a routine based on my standards. So I try and get up as early as possible. So from 4 o'clock, half an hour to sort of just have a morning prime, pray, drink some water, go through some affirmations, and then from 4:30 till 7, first working block. And then from 7 till 9, I'll go, it's basically breakfast and workout. So I'll go for a run in the park, stretch, come back. Then it's Lauren's turn. She will go straight after me.
Does that park have a hill?
It has a small hill. Yeah, it does. But it's not good. I can't, listen, like I said to you, if you want to challenge me, have a child.
knowing P's knees, he's going to need a few straps as well.
Listen. So my knees are solid, man. Trust me, dog. And then so I get back, and then basically, myself and Lauren have breakfast together, also with Karim as well. And then from 9 o'clock, I do the first working shift from 9 till 10:30, and then I basically spend an hour and a half, 2 hours family time. Then back working block for an hour and a half. So I only basically work in hour and a half chunks. Do that all the way until about 6 o'clock. Within that working block, I try and schedule calls across or whatever with regards to work. And then from say 6 till 7, just basically wind down with family time, dinner. We try to do, like we're doing a lot more things like of what we would do when we were younger. So watching like My Wife and Kids, all like old movies, just to sort of create a sense of enjoyment and reminiscing the old times. And yeah, I'm just trying to stick to that on a daily basis. So Monday all the way through to Sunday, workouts non-negotiable. I have to push Lauren, she has to push me, and it keeps us sane. And yeah, but I will say in the beginning, it was quite challenging to adjust. Like I know Lauren was quite frustrated with just staying indoors, and I was like, look, we could either not have a structure, not have a routine, butt heads and just do whatever we want to do, or we can actually make the most of it and come out better on the other end. So it's a work in progress, but it's before you know it, guys, it's going to be over. And then my whole thing is also looking back, saying, actually, I made the most of it, and I'm better off because of it.
Mm-hmm. Dope.
So yeah.
Go ahead.
Now I was just gonna, before we wrap up, ask one last question.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I really want to know, what is the first thing you guys are gonna do when you leave lockdown? What is life's so good right now. I'm staying indoors. because I'll be honest with you. I saw this. You're not going to be the first.
I'll be honest with you. We can talk about on the next episode how the trends are going to change. But I saw this post around when we're let back out. Someone said we're going to let others go out first to see if the virus is cleared, and then I'll come out after. But no, to be honest, I'm not necessarily, me personally. Like I said, I'm not in a rush to come out of this period. I'm enjoying it, brother. Life is good.
Trust me. I'm looking forward to spending my 30th at home without having to celebrate. Trust me.
You're right. Yeah, right.
The first thing that I'm going to do, if I can, is I'm going to book a flight to a white, sandy beach country.
You're chatting rubbish, man. You're chatting rubbish.
I swear to God.
But why would you travel?
I swear to God.
But why would you travel? Why would you travel?
Because I feel like that's the one thing that really gives me a lot of energy the last couple of years.
Sure, the virus hasn't eradicated, it's not going
to... I'm saying, but in my
realistic.
Case,
but you're saying what you'd want to do. What are you actually realistically going to do?
The thing is, in the next episode, by the way, if anyone's still listening to this, in the next episode, we start to talk about future predictions. And you can hear more about that in the next one. But what I would think... Because I apparently
I
can't
hope the
have mine.
quarantine finishes on a Tuesday.
Let him land. Sure, let
I
him
hope
land.
it finishes on a Tuesday so I can go and kick ball. Like I have missed playing football. I used to play football once a week. I can't wait
Okay,
to
sure.
go
So
out.
sure. So what you said?
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Sure. What was you
You
saying?
guys are throwing it about staying in. Daniel saying he wants to spend his 30th birthday in house.
Thing is, everyone's seen clips of Olu playing striker, so we know that once he starts playing football, it's going to take him a good 9 months to get in the flow again. Because the way you were finishing pre-Corona, Olu.
Yo, mine's finishing. I told
You're
you,
finishing like Obafemi Martins.
all of the people on the podcast right now. none of you can talk. I was semi-pro out here.
I can challenge that. Anyway, go on.
With your knees.
Hey, I can challenge that. Me and you, innit?
What about
Right,
you,
go on.
Joe? What's the?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah.
Who are you asking?
Sure, you.
Yeah, I said you guys didn't let me have the answer. That's the first thing that I'm going to do. I'm going to go
White sandy beach.
I was actually the other day. I was scrolling through my phone and I saw that I found a picture of me on a jet ski in the Bahamas with a red bathtub, and I was like, "Why have I not done that for so long?" That's the first place I'm going to go.
Brother, you need to go and pray something.
Daniel. Daniel.
That's another thing. That's another thing I'll say real quick. For practicing Muslims, this is the perfect period because now there's no excuse for us not to pray our 5 times a day because we're in one place. Guys, quarantine equals blessing, inshallah. Olu, over to you.
Okay, so over to Daniel, who's taking pictures. But thank you for all the listeners. Thank you for listening to this episode. I hope everyone is staying safe and responsible during this time. Like Pibilo's talked throughout the whole episode, we need to change our mindset. See this as more of a blessing than us being locked down.
Blessing.
It takes 21 days to build a habit. We've been
21 days.
We're going to be locked down for, I think, closely to 21 days. So this is an opportunity to learn a new skill, gain a new habit. So many opportunities that you can leverage during this period of time.
Leverage.
So over to Daniel to close up. And thanks, P, for being my hype man.
It's like an Amigos single.
Thanks all for listening. Olu said it perfectly. Catch us next time and we'll discuss about what we think will happen in the future post-lockdown. Stay blessed.
Take off, take flight with you.